So $8.99 Australian for a MacBook, it seems too good to be true, but for many, this is quite literally the best choice of laptop for under $1,000 Australian dollars. You saw my viral video on TikTok, or maybe you didn't, but now it is time to talk about my time with MacBook Neo, because there is no surprise that this keeps selling out. It is almost perfect for its price point. So I currently use an M5 MacBook Pro, and it's connected to my Apple Studio display and the Thunderbolt 5 dock at my desk, so I don't like to unplug all of that when I need to head out with my laptop or move away from the desk. So this has been a great option to use instead. For a quick summary of what's packed inside this laptop, here are the specs on screen. It's got the A18 Pro chip, 8GB of RAM. My model has 512 gigs of storage. But if you do want more info about what is actually inside this and who this is technically aimed at, I'll leave my overview video down below for you. But using this little MacBook Neo, there are times where I don't even notice a difference. And then there are times I remember why I have a higher powered MacBook as my everyday driver. For a bit of information about me, I am a full-time content creator. This is my whole job. So I'm always on my MacBook every single day. And with MacBook Neo, I really love doing some of the work on here, such as my admin and any document work, even making stuff on Canva if I need to, sometimes even video editing on here to a degree. This laptop can handle all of that and more, so it does make traveling a literal breeze because I have a macOS device that doesn't weigh my bag down, and I personally find that a 13-inch is a perfect size for me when I'm traveling. I don't want any bigger than that, so this just works. I don't know why, I'm really gravitating towards smaller devices lately. Now, I got a lot of comments from people on the internet about if this is good for students or small businesses or even gaming. And the answer to all of that for the most part is yes, it is good for almost all of these types of use cases, but there are some things that you should be aware of though. So I use this laptop as a Safari user, and as expected, there are no issues opening multiple tabs at once, no sign of the laptop slowing down, even with other programs open in the background. It might be different for Chrome, but I prefer Safari. I just hate using Google Chrome unless I'm on a Windows device. And during the last few weeks, I ran tests to show that yes, you can play something like The Sims 4 on here with adjustments to your settings. And there are multiple videos out there showing games like Cyberpunk running well on MacBook Neo, so there's no doubt that this can be used for gaming too, to a degree. It's surprisingly capable of a lot more than what we were expecting when Apple announced it, and it's been really cool to see people put that to the test. But in my use case, I remember why the MacBook Air and Pro still exist, because more power is not only beneficial, but it is needed for certain tasks or software and other use cases. What I found though across the hundreds of comments I got on my video on different platforms is that the people who are asking these sorts of questions about whether it's good for study or small business, etc., they are the ones that this laptop is really designed for. It's genuinely surprising how well this runs. But then of course there are some compromises, and for me it's a small amount of things that I unfortunately can't look past. Since the ports on the side are not Thunderbolt, it does mean that when I'm transferring files to my external storage devices, it is super slow, and when you're used to the fast speeds of Thunderbolt, this is quite noticeable and frustrating. Same with export times on editing videos in Final Cut Pro. It's not as fast as what my MacBook Pro can do, and when you are, again, used to these speeds as a full-time content creator, you do notice a difference and it can disrupt your workflow. It's just that I'm so used to what I've got, when I'm doing it on here, I find that quite frustrating when I'm working. And adding to that, having no SD card port on the side, it's not the end of the world, but it does mean that I have to remember to pack a reader or try and locate one around the house because I lose them all the time. It's a small inconvenience to some, but unfortunately it is a major one for me. But I do forget about these things when I am focusing on the tasks that don't require these functions or features, which is like my accounting and my admin, general internet browsing, or even content planning and scripting. The battery life is so great for what it is, especially since I'm not using it all hours of the day. Really good for travel too, because I'm not on it all the time. I can be assured that when I do open it, there is going to be some power there. I love how light it is compared to my MacBook Pro, and I love the way it still feels like a premium MacBook device with its aluminium body. Sure, the absence of a backlight on the keyboard is annoying at nighttime, but I still feel like I'm using a MacBook at the end of the day. If we were to break it down part for part, sure, we can absolutely see why this is a cheaper MacBook, but the average person isn't really feeling a difference between the trackpad and the keyboard when they're using it. When an operating system is done so well, like what macOS is, it doesn't really matter what model you're using for average tasks, as it all feels the same. This is why it is an absolute banger of a product for under $1,000 at a base level. You aren't getting any laptop better than this. I've seen some pretty great stuff the past month from Intel with Panther Lake and its new generation of Ultra Series 3 chips, but I just know that the power of those chips are going to be sitting at obscene prices in this current market. So again, nothing is beating MacBook Neo for under $1,000 Australian. There's a reason why these have been selling out, and the reason why it's the most talked about Apple product right now. Enough power for so many use cases, a price point that doesn't give a major barrier to entry, and a color palette that really hits their target audience well. So yeah, this might just be the best product from Apple that we see this year, and I'm so glad to see that this exists. People can get their hands on this and use it in so many different ways that we didn't really expect it to be able to do. I said this in the short that I did, it is really nice to see an option of a MacBook for everybody. Personally, I'm pretty interested to know if you've picked up a MacBook Neo for yourself or what you think of the device overall. Again, I love it. I think this is a fantastic product. So leave a comment down below after you hit the subscribe button, because I look forward to talking more tech with you in the next video.